Well, hello and welcome to our reading of Homer Iliad, Book 3, and we're up to line 10. So we've had this introduction of the two armies, the armies of the Trojans, who are like these very noisy birds, and in contrast the army of the Achaeans, who proceed in silence. Ute, the word for when. Notos is the sound, it's got a capital N there, this is the south wind. When the south wind, katekuen from katekeo, has poured down, it's probably nomic here, pours down even though it's past tense, a omiclane, a mist, on the Coryphaceae, dative plural, on the peaks of the mountain. This is genitive here, uncontracted again, third declension from oros. So when the south wind has poured down, can do it as a past tense I suppose, has poured down mist on the peaks of the mountain, a thing filane, not dear, so this is feminine agreeing with homiclane, a mist which is not dear in any way, poimesin, to shepherds, because they can't see their flock, but klepte, but for a thief, it is ameno, better than night. The te is often used in generalized statements, as we've got here. And hence we've got the little te here because it's a generalized statement. So it's something which is not dear in general to shepherds, but for a thief it is better than night. This is a genitive of comparison after ameno. And we get toson, hoson, as far as. So the subject here again is very vague, it's tis, and again we get these generalizing texts here, which are often used too when you're comparing two things. You'll get this te in comparisons of two particular things in Homer. So someone epilusae sees toson hoson as far as hiasi is from hiami, as he throws. Now the epi is a preverb going with the iac. In later Greek you refer to it as temesis, the cutting off of the preposition from the verb, but this is technically not temesis because at this stage of the language the two words were never connected. So you can't really cut them up, you can't really separate them. So often in Homeric grammar you refer to this as a preverb rather than a preposition cut off from the verb. But in practice, of course, you just take it as though it were temesis. So someone sees as far as epi-hiasi, he releases a la'an, a stone. Hos ara tone hupa posin. So again, we've got this this metaphor here. There's so much dust being kicked up by the army that it is like when, it is as when the south wind blows up all this mist. So hose is thus here, in comparison with what we had before. Notice the accent on the hose at the beginning of the line here often has the sense of thus. So thus, and again our ara, fittingly, koniselos a eles. Now there's the variant readings here, but we take it as what's written. So this is whirling cloud of dust. So a whirling cloud of dust, ornut, a rise, well it's imperfect here, isn't it? Was arising, so it's unaugmented from ornumi. Arose under the posin, the feet, dative plural, tone goes with the erchomenone, which has been delayed for emphasis. Of them, erchomenone. So it's as they're coming along. It's known as enjambment, is the technical term for this. When you save one word back from a line and you put at the beginning of the next line for emphasis, that's called enjambment. And it's a technique Homer uses quite a lot, but very effectively. Here it's interesting. There are better examples than this of enjambment, but this is a perfectly good one. So it's in the same way as the north wind does, or the south wind does all this. Thus, the cloud of dust, a whirling cloud of dust, arose under the feet of them as they're moving along. Maladorca di epresen pedioio. Very quickly, di epreson, they traversed they traversed through, taking a genitive, pedioia, that uncontracted genitive, through the plain. So they completed their, you often get this with hodos as well, so they completed their journey, so they traversed very quickly through the plain. Hoide, but they, when indeed they were near, coming against one another. So when they were on their way against one another and they had drawn near, Trosimen. Now the subject of this is, so for the Trojans, on the Trojan side, Alexandros, Alexander Thoedes, who is godlike. He has the appearance of a god. So godlike Alexander, that's Paris of course. Pro Makisden, this is, it's an imperfect here without augment. He was fighting at the front line, and of course in Homer the heroes always fight in the front rows. So he was fighting in the front row, and he was echoed, participle here, having, pardelein is a leopard skin, pardelein, a leopard skin, omoisin, on his shoulders. So it's a locative use of the dative here. So having on his shoulders a leopard skin, and a campula, a curved toxa bow. It's plural here, curved bows. Homer often used, well he may have had more than one, but often you get plural for singular. We can take it literally and say, and curved bows, but he probably just had one of them. Kai Xiphos. Now the bow, by the way, was very much a Persian, Eastern implement. And I believe the word toxon actually comes from one of those Persian languages. Kai Xiphos, and a sword. Autar, but he was, palone is a participle here. It means shaking around or waving around, often translated as brandishing. He was brandishing two, and we get a dual here, dure. Now this is the word for wood, doru. It's connected with it's a dual form, and often you get, they often use this word of just wood, sometimes to refer to a ship, which is made of wood, or sometimes referring to the spear, which is the base of which, or the shaft of which, is made of wood. So literally two woods, but it's two spears. Kekoruthmena, this is a perfect passive participle from korusso, to crown or tip. So they're tipped calco with bronze. So as he was brandishing these two spears tipped with bronze, pro Callisdeto, he was challenging, again there's no augment here, he was challenging all the best men, Argaeon of the Argives, Mecasasthai to fight, and Tibion face to face. It's a common word in Homer, to fight face to face in the terrible Deitoti battle, in the terrible war or battle, in the grim fight. And that's where we'll leave it for this video.